Hello, everybody. Welcome to Whiz Bang, Marketing for Comics, the masterclass with the very talented Jeff Wilson. Really pleased that we can continue this in a multi-week format because there's lots and lots of stuff to talk about. So it's really a great topic, and a lot of people have been asking about what do you do with you're doing work, you're illustrating, you're cartooning, and what are the next steps, and how do you build that audience and presence and stuff. So Jeff has this whole knowledge base where he's going through, and we're really excited that we can bring this to you and to showcase this. So just in terms of all the partners, I want to thank all our partners in this: Canada Council for the Arts, and then we have our library partners. We have the Blue Mountains Public Library, Collingwood Public Library, Wasaga Beach Public Library, and all these libraries have the tools and digital arts equipment that you can access through our program. So we have iMacs and we have iPads as well. So in terms of the software that Jeff's demoing with, it is the Procreate software. So it's a low-cost app. If you haven't heard about this in our other workshops, check it out. And you can access these through the Blue Mountains Public Library and the Wasaga Beach Library and Collingwood Public Library as well. So you can access iPads there and the tech to get yourself going. But yeah, so without any further ado, let me pass it over to Jeff. Here we go. Here's Jeff.
Okay, thank you so much, Tom, and welcome everybody again to Whiz Bang. It's the master class of the exciting things of cartooning that can really give your cartoon or your feature or your story, which doesn't have to be visual, but it can be just give it that lift, that extra impact that can help to give not only your work a lift, but to you a lift too in your career, hopefully. But definitely, there are, if you are passionate about what you're doing, and that shows in your work, it will show in your work, and you'll have your impact, and hopefully you're being able to build an audience. So I'm just really thrilled to be able to share this with you. Yeah, when I was a young boy, I just was always so impressed about the comic strip, which was the medium of choice for me when living in a kind of an isolated farm, and then just falling in love with the newspapers and the comics that were in them. And in the time since, I've been trying to learn it, first of all for myself, but now I feel kind of I've done enough exploring, done enough research, I've done enough of the learning side of it and experience side of it that I can share it with you. And I hope that you're able to carry the baton and make yourself a good pastime with it, if nothing else. It is a wonderful pastime. I think I've said in the past, it's very therapeutic. Just getting ideas out there can be very healthy, because I think we are, as human beings, we have that side to our brain, the creative side, and I see a lot of people that don't use it, and I think they could be happier if they did. So let's get started at it. Let's just get talking about it here. So I have my card here, and I'm not going to turn my camera over there yet. What I'm going to do is that's my title card here, the Whiz Bang, Words Can Convey. And so I just wanted to talk first about lettering. So lettering is something that I do now. Lettering is a lot different now in comics. You can actually type in your text now, and that's not something that you don't even have to deal with it as much anymore. If you have a font already written, you don't have to do all the calligraphy and stuff. But I really think there's something about a handwritten message in a cartoon that still impacts me. So I'm just going to begin to talk about lettering today. And I think we've done this before in several of the cartooning classes about lettering. And it's just to, and as far as marketing yourself, it can become a very important expression of your style and your personal preference of how you do things. So I guess you can design a font for yourself and create a special font that you can use in your comics as well, and that would speed up your process. I'm sure you could you do each letter separately and have it scanned or whatever, and put it into a font that you can put into your word processor. That would be really great, but I don't know how you do that. That's somebody more techie than me that would teach you that, but I can teach you the hand lettering style. So you see a couple of them here. The top font here, the one I like the look of this font line, is when I did a comic strip called The Average Farm, I would have one of the characters would do the local correspondence for the local newspaper. And that was a world I was pretty familiar with because I did work at the local newspaper, and I did know that world, which was kind of coming to a very abrupt end at the time. That we had correspondents that were local people that were not paid, volunteers, and they would share news of their little area, either their service club or their little enclave of people in a community, small community, and they would write news. Mr. and Mrs. Jones visited Mr. and Mrs. Arthur of this town, or they went abroad to Bahamas for a couple of weeks and came back very tanned and feeling good. This was the sort of news which was really important in small town papers. So I really felt that was important to have a character do that in that strip, because it was a strip about a small town. Anyway, about this particular font, I tried to do it like a typewritten looking font here on that top one. And the second one, I've got a little more wiggly. It could be like it could be like maybe a darker type of feature. It could be like a horror feature. Who knows? Whatever you'd like to do, you could certainly do that as well. So there's a couple of ideas. I thought I might just turn the camera here to the iPad, and we'll do another one. We're going to do another font here. So I hope you can all see that. We'll just move that camera a little closer there, and I will get move this up a bit here. Let's just move the screen a bit there. So we'll start to letter here. The beauty of the iPad and the I'm going to have trouble with it now. Now that I'm live, I'm going to have some trouble with this. So I'm going to just highlight that layer 5 there, and I'm going to change the color of the. No, I'm not, because it won't allow me to. Let's see. It's not allowing me to. Here it is. Okay, so I'm going to take the K here in this section here, the CMYK, and make sure the K is dragged right over here to the other side there. And we'll start to do some lettering here. Oh, you know what? I think maybe I need to sync my pencil. This is something I've learned about the Apple Pencil, is that it sometimes occasionally needs to be synced with your iPad. And that's a lesson I've never had to teach before, but this is one that's good now. And now that is way too wide of a letter there. We're going to take down our broadness of the stroke, and we want our opacity, that's the lower section here. Our opacity is right to 100%. I'm going to take our brush size way down here, and let's see what we can do. Let's try a really unusual font here. Let's say this is like okay, could be like a horror one, like this top one here, the second one here. We're going to make it just kind of a weird looking letters and see how it looks, because this is the fun part about cartooning, is you should, if you don't, shame on you, but if you do, good on you. You can really have some fun playing with things like this. And you may find something in it by doing this that will affect your style, that will improve it. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to write a little line here, maybe just a couple of letters, actually, not too much, just to show you what can be done here. And this is kind of a scrambly looking font here. And I will just, and the good thing about doing it this way is that you can just, every letter can be its own nightmare, if you will, or its own beauty, something beautiful. Let's see, we could make it beautiful. letter there, just to kind of separate it from these scrambly looking scary letters. And and each time our L's and our W's, and they wouldn't have to look the same all the time. They could look totally different every time we wanted them to. And then, we could just pull it out once in a while, just make it a nice, beautiful serify. Oops, I'll just redo that and then just put a big circle there. And then a nice big blocky K if you wanted to. You can just keep that blank. Yeah, just have, I would just say, just have fun with it. It kind of reminds me of when they used to, this is a bad memory of mine, but when they used to give ransom notes, if they'd kidnap someone, they would cut out letters from the newspaper, and they would, so that nobody could tell their handwriting, they would mail these very bizarre letters and say, I've got your son, pay me $50,000. This would happen very rarely, but I don't know. This is the sort of direction this font looks like. It's actually a lot of fun to do this. I hope when you do this, you have a lot of fun. This could be a really fun font for a comic strip or a sound effect if you're doing that. Let's try another one here. Let's try a this might be fun here. I just thought of doing something really tall and thin. This could be very interesting for a handwritten font. Oops, let's go backspace here and get rid of that little dot. I touched the screen, unfortunately. Okay, this really is different from anything we've been doing here, but it has a very nice look to it. And you'll notice how I'm kind of eyeballing it. I'm noticing where the letters all are, and the W would be a wider letter, for example. This is just basic calligraphy. The letter for W, for example, would be wider than an E because it's like two V's or two W's or two U's, I should say. But I would keep the O about the same width as the T and the H. Like any of these letters that I think if you were a calligrapher or a font expert, or if you work with fonts, I do graphics, so that's kind of the world I've worked in for many years. And so I try to duplicate that look, but I'm not always successful. It kind of has a nice look to it. I think I would redo this S again, though, because I didn't like that much. Oh, that's a good thing. Just hit undo and you're do it again and do it better. And the A would be normally a little wider than the regular letters. It would be similar to the like an upside down W2. The letter G, yeah, that would be about that size, I would think, and similar to that size. And notice I'm just kind of letting my humanity, letting my imperfections hang out here. And it doesn't have to look perfect, but it doesn't look too bad. I'm going to redo that D, though. There we go. Yeah, that's kind of what I had in mind. And we'll finish our thought here. As I'm doing it, I'm also looking back and trying to make sure I'm consistent with the letters that I'm putting here. But again, that's part of the beauty of doing it by hand. People will look at it and say, yeah, that was done by hand. That was all written. That's original writing there. So there we go. There's a different font. So we could also do wider letters to it. Let's thicken this up a bit. Let's thicken our letters here, and we could do actually widen their letters as well. Well, that doesn't look too bad. Again, you're the master of your art here. You know what. Let's get rid of this little boo boo here, and you have a lot of control at this point, and it should be you should be looking at it and saying, yes, I like that, and you can do that. You can look like that overall, and you can say, that's okay for this time, but next time I think I would like to do this, and that will come over time, and that is developing your style, developing your look. And what I like about it, it looks very, very just on the spot, very, very quick, and it has that look to it. Although we actually took quite a while to do most of this. Which one do you like? Pick the font you like. Which one do you think would work best with your feature? It's all part of your journey, and it's just like it's part of mine. And the world is an amazing place, all right. There's so many ideas that it doesn't have to be other comic strips. It could be a TV show. It could be the sign you saw before you came home from work tonight. It was it could be anything. Your inspiration can come from anywhere, but it's a good time to play and to experiment with things. So lettering is a very fun thing, and we'll probably explore that another time too. Oh, and I had this template here, which is just something I just made some boxes here. And created a little template for myself. And without that template, I will show you what these letters look like. It's the template of the box, the measurement of where we keep our letters. It helps to keep our lettering look consistent and even. And let's. I wonder why that letter O disappeared here. It says hell. Okay, let's go back here. I wanted to say hello here. Let's try that. There we go. Let's finish that off, and we'll just erase that little line there. So that's better. That's what I meant to say. I don't want to say too many bad words here on the show. Okay, let's cancel that one there, and we're going to go to a little comic strip here. Now, this is I think I mentioned last time about an artist named Don Martin, who did comics, and he was a master of the visual sound effect. And so we have a little cartoon here, which is similar to what might have been a Don Martin gag in Mad Magazine many years ago. And I have this little scientist guy here on our left saying, "I love science." And he's obviously mixing up some kind of potion here. We have a blank spot in the middle. And then obviously something's gone wrong. And he says, "No, not so much." And obviously some mishap there. So what I did was I went ahead previous to the class here. I did a little graphic here that was to tell you what happened in between. And without really telling you, this is part of being a good humorist and being a good cartoonist in many ways as well, is telling just enough to build your joke and not give too much away. And that is not only a cartooning thing, it's also a humor skill, and that it seems to be lost. We seem to be losing it. We tend to tell way too much too soon, and the people that could hold back just the right amount to tell the story and tell enough of the story to get the laugh, that seems to be a dying art, but it is there, and a lot of people still have it. So anyway, the idea here is we have the sound effect here visually, kablooey, and then punchline now, not so much. So I think what we might do is, you might not like kablooey, so I thought it might be fun to create a different sound effect for this gag here. Let's put another layer in here. What else could we say? Like Don Martin, who did Mad Magazine, did was so talented. He could somehow do a sound effect, and you would read it, and you could imagine it. It was so cleverly done. Let's try another one. Let's try. As I'm doing this, I'm just remembering some fun things of Don Martin's from Mad Magazine of many years ago, and because this would have been back in the late 1960s, early 1970s that I read Mad Magazine, and as I'm doing this, I'm trying to channel a bit of Don Martin, the late Don Martin, who was one of my heroes in comics, and I remember my grandfather was the one who introduced me to Don Martin and to Mad Magazine, actually, too. And he would have them at his house, and he'd say, "Here, read some Mad Magazines." And the first thing I would go to would be Don Martin. And the Don Martin stuff was just brilliant to me. It was just the best. Here, let's and there's lots of stuff on the internet. You can read all kinds of stuff about Don Martin. He was very popular. I think of all the mad artists that were over the years, and there weren't too many that really not too many that stood out. Don Martin was one. Sergio Aragonés was another that I remembered just loving. They had so many talented artists there. Yeah, and again, we're getting the looseness, and this is part of what the beauty of Don Martin's work was, and any of these cartoonists from the looseness. They could have their good technical skills, but there was a looseness and a kind of a skilled imperfection about that a child would say, "Yeah, that I could do something like that," and it kind of draws you in. It's a remarkable thing. It is something that always caught me as a special thing. So we're creating our own sound effect here. As we're getting to the end here, we're starting to find our way a little easier. It's we're starting to see what the whole thing is going to be. Bazooey. That's a bizarre sound effect. That would be a very bazooey. That would be very. Don Martin would be very proud of that one. Let's get a different color on that too. And we can add colors to it. We can make this so gaudy and ridiculous that I love it already. Bazooey. Yeah, you notice I'm just kind of looking at it and saying where could a little piece of color just kind of go and give it a little impact here. It's just a fun little piece here. I'm going to put a little white yellow in there just to take down my brush size here. We're just going to put a little bit of a scratchy line in here to give it kind of a what it does for me by doing that is it gives it kind of a screechy quality in the sound that you're your mind is hearing, and that's why I do that. It just kind of gives you a little finger on the chalkboard sound in your mind as you do this sort of touch to it. And you could just imagine the Hanna-Barbera or Warner Brother cartoon that would have this sort of visual effect in it, what the sound would be for it. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. Bazooey. Oh, you probably have better sound effects than I have, so I will. I would love to see your ideas for this, by the way, and I encourage you to. I'm just going to increase the brush size here, and we're going to add a few little patches of color here, just because we can, and it's going to add to the drawing. It really is. It's going to give your, and this is so much of cartooning is just spending time here and playing. And boy, this is thinking how will this impact the final result here. So here we go. We got the gag here. I love science. Bazooey. No, not so much. If you have an idea, I would hope that you could do something similar. Try it out and see how much fun it is. It's just a delight. Sound effects in visual form are fantastic. And so here we had the bazooey and we had kablooey before. So it's always something ooey with me. It's that's the ending for me. So and we have we can also talk about sound effects, or I wanted to explore that a bit, actually, more sound effects before we close the class today. And I'm going to just take this layer out here and put it by itself. And I'm going to do, let's just rough out a nice little superhero scene. I'm going to just take a blue here, and I'm going to just use do a sketch here. And we're just going to do a sketch of a couple of superheroes in a battle here. I think should be fun here. And then we're going to have right here, we're going to have a balloon, or actually sound effects splash. So let's put that in our layout first, our sound effects splash. And then we're going to have our victim, or the person that's getting struck here, have them here reacting to what just happened. So we're going to have let's say they just got punched and their jaw's way over here. They just got socked here. Their jaw's way over here. The hair is flying all over the place. That was always fun too in Mad Magazine, when people would get punched and their heads would spin around on their necks. So we could do something like that too, just have the head spinning around here. Show some movement lines there. Yeah, that actually would be a lot of fun to do that. As I'm doing this, I'm getting an idea here how to make this guy look like he's spinning around here. Just put the eyes over here now, and nose here, and jaw over here. His head spinning around and around. That looks like a lot of fun. So he's just been socked here, and then a guy over here could be a superhero, could be a bad guy here too, and a big fist here. His big arm and his shoulder here. He's socked this guy. So there's we'll just do it in rough form because I think what we want to focus on here is this visual sound effect. So I apologize if I'm getting a little carried away here, but I just want to kind of show the context of all this and show a little motion line here that he's punching here. So let's have fun with this sound effect here. What would you do for the sound effect? There could be pow or sock, or in your little creative world, what is the sound effect you would do? Let's I'm going to do something really silly here, and I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to say, let's find a nice color here. Yeah, not liking the selection of colors. I tend to try to keep the mood pretty good, and then come up with an idea so that will be similar. So I'm going to say, I'm going to say discuss logically. Discuss logically by punching him in the face. That's a fun one. That's just a rough, of course, but I wanted to get that off my chest before I did anything else. So we're going to create a new one here that let's see. Well, there's blap and there's clunk and bazow and crack, smack, zap, pow, wham. It's always fun to make up your own too. Let's start with the letter K because I think that's always a fun letter to start with. It's kind of random, and let's start with a letter K. Okay, so our sound effect, we'll start with the K. We haven't figured out what the rest of it is yet, but we're going to start with the letter K for our sound effect. And we're going to make it look really exciting, very dynamic. I think that's the word we'll use here for that. And it could be, when we have K, it can be cuss something. That can be a good sound effect. Cuss something is when you see that cuss something, it means very dynamic action here. I don't know why. That's just shorthand for cartoonists, I guess. I'll do a Don Martin, send up to Don Martin here. He'd had a lot of kapwing. Kapwing was a very Don Martin-like sound effect here. So since out of homage for Don Martin, I'm going to do kapwing. And so get the W in there. Remember, just kind of clean them up a bit, but keep them loose looking because that's what we want. We want that looseness there. The letter E, we're going to have a couple letters of E in there. And we can play with the size of the letters and what fun. Kapwing. So yeah, let's play with that a little better there. Let's make that, clean that up a bit. And then we'll end with a letter G. And of course, the big exclamation mark will go somewhere in here as well. Maybe two. Kapwing. And let's see, we could even take this, the beauty of the program here is that we can play with these layers, and you can just make that fit better in your space, or kapwing. And you can, that's another good thing, is you can turn it, you can spin it around and make it take a different position in the graphic as well. Kapwing. So that's a fun one. It's a kapwing, and that's very Don Martin-esque as well. And you can, the beauty of it also is that you can also add some color to the balloon. We're going to make this a really colorful balloon here. Add another layer underneath that. And I'll bet you didn't think you're going to learn how to draw arrows exploding starbursts and stuff in your cartooning lesson, but you never know what you're going to get here. I hope it's a bit of a surprise every time, and that you have fun as you drop in and we visit and learn together, because I will tell you, I am learning a lot by doing these classes and having a lot of fun here. We're just going to fill that in. Let's just fill that in, and we're just give her, just blob it right up there with the colors. And as you do this to it, part of a cartoonist's work is sitting at the art board alone many hours of the time. But this is one of the payoffs, is that at the end, people will say, wow, it looks like it was so immediate, so instant. It may have taken hours to do the drawing you're looking at. And but it has the impact of something that's just a quick explosion or a quick violent movement like this. It can have that type of effect. And for many years, I don't know how impactful it is now, but an artist named Roy Lichtenstein, who was a pop artist, was the forerunner of the pop art movement in art. And he would do basically comic book art or pulp art, as they called it, too, because it would be some of the pulp novels were illustrated, and they would have the same type of drawing set as a comic book or strip would. And he had a lot of these graphics in there. He would have, I remember Mad Magazine had a spoof of sound effects for romance strips, and for because it seemed to be action strips always had the sound effects, but they had romance strips that would have a girl opening a letter, and it would be a sound effect of her heart breaking, and it was really interesting. It was a really clever exploration of that. Kapwing. So there you go. And it took me a while to construct that, but I think you'll agree it's very impactful. It has a bit of action to it, and we can work at it more. You can improve on this, of course. You can take your eraser and just clean up some of those edges, or you know what, I kind of like it the way it is. I don't really mind that at all. Or you could take another color and you could just add some things to it. We could let's get that cleaned up a bit. Let's try it again here. You can just add things like shadows to these letters, and just gives it that much more impact, gives it that much more I like to do that when I do sound effects. Just give them like a 3D quality to them, just to add a little dimension to them. I think you'll find that too if you do the same. So there you go. And it will, as you do it, you will find that you'll learn what you prefer, what you like more. I don't think that's too bad. It certainly gets across the idea that there's some action going on here. And anyway, it's all about having fun, exploring the journey, and we can just go on and on. We could go on forever, especially even with this graphic. We could just improve on that. There's no end of things we can do here. So let's Okay, I think we locked a couple layers there so we wouldn't lose them. And of course, you have your drawing too as well. You could, if you've done this first, your graphic first, you can then begin to, and we won't do the whole drawing here, but I'm going to build another layer, and we can actually do a kind of finish off that this layer here with the our guy here, that our fighting guy here. Yeah, let's just kind of clean that up a little bit just to give us a little start. What would we want? Yeah, let's go with the studio pen here. I prefer that. And we're just going to give finish a line or two here. Yeah, since we've already kind of started it, we might as well start to finish it off. And you know, with the sound effect, you know that there's quite a bit of action going on here, and yeah, this is kind of a random little feature that came up, and it's kind of looking like something I would draw in my sketchbook. I've got hundreds of thousands of drawings just like this in my sketchbooks here. But and then of course the fist, we could clean that up a bit. His forearm and his biceps here and into the shoulder. And of course the motion line showing the fist moving over here, and maybe a little cloud here showing the movement. So there you go. So that would take your cartoon that much further. And here's our guy here. Double face because his jaw is moving here. We should have his hair spinning around here this way too. And of course his neck spinning around and around and around, which is pretty ridiculous. A lot of fun. And let's take away the roughs here, the rough line, and we will get, well, I guess we drew it on the rough line. That's okay. So we'll go back, we'll bring back our sound effect here, and it seems to make a little more sense here. So anyway, I hope that helped a bit. It was a lot of fun for me. I'll just turn the camera back to myself here again, and I will summarize by saying that it's very simple, and yet it looks simple, but it can take a lot of work. But it will be worth all the work you put into it. And the sound effects, as I say, they're for a lot of artists, they made their name on them. So I hope you enjoyed exploring that with me today. And with that, I will turn it back to Tom.
Perfect. Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, fantastic. Just love seeing how it's fun to think of how do you create sound in something that doesn't have sound, and I think that it's such a great challenge of that. So I think that's yeah, and what a great concept, because we're always thinking about, even with video and stuff. So how these are real concepts that can be applied into multi layers of other digital arts as well. So if you're doing a video that maybe people won't hear sound, and that's typical if you think of like social media. I mean, Jeff just answered a lot of questions for me on how we can incorporate that into bringing in sound to something that maybe people won't hear any sound, right? So it's really a great tool, and yeah, something definitely that can be practiced. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the email here, Jeff's email, jeffwilsonmentorship@gmail.com. So if you have questions, you want to share like what you're working on, we'd love to see. Jeff would love to see. I'd love to see. We'd love to see this. And in the past, Jeff's been able to even share some stuff that's been sent, and I think that's great. So feel free to email him. You have ideas. You're working on something. You're trying to figure out how maybe something can sound too, right? Like there's a so reach out. And if you have questions about any of our workshops, we have our fall ones are getting loaded now too, so you can go and start looking at September workshops. We're hoping to get some in-person workshops happening as well in September. So we'll just see in some fashion, whether it's indoors or outdoors, we'll see kind of what may come. But yeah, definitely please send us emails, and we'll address any questions you guys might have as well. So let's keep the conversations going. And yeah, I just want to thank Jeff and thank all of our partners in this project. So we have the Canada Council for the Arts, and then we have all our library partners. So we have the Blue Mountains Public Library, Collingwood Public Library, Wasaga Beach Public Library. Again, thanks everyone for joining us. Make sure that if you haven't watched week 1, you're on this ticket right now, you can go back and watch it. So it's there, it's archived. And please make sure to join us for the next 2 weeks as well. So week 3, week 4, really excited to have all of these materials and concepts for Jeff to share with us. So thanks again, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care.